3 days of inspiration, content, and connections with fellow executive women at leading retailers and brands. You can't miss the 2021 Women in Retail Leadership Summit. Connect with and learn from inspirational women leaders at this exclusive boutique event from October 11th to the 13th. The safety of our attendees is our number one priority. Go to womeninretailsummit.com for our full event safety plan and to register to attend. We can't wait to see you there.
Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Editor-in-Chief of Total Retail. I am joined on today's episode by Giovanni Monti, the Senior Vice President of Healthcare Services for Walgreens Boots Alliance. So thank you for joining me on today's show, Giovanni.
Thank you for having me.
So to get us started, I want to ask you about your role at Walgreens Boots Alliance, as well as the healthcare services team as a group. Tell us a little bit about, the audience about your particular role and your particular team at Walgreens Boots Alliance.
Sure. As you said, I'm the Senior Vice President for Healthcare Services at Walgreens Boots Alliance. I suppose most of your audience will be most familiar with Walgreens, the pharmacy chain in the US, but in reality, the group is present in more than 25 countries, with Boots in the UK and lots of other countries. And with my team, together with lots of other teams, because it's always really a company-wide effort, we build physical and digital platforms to connect individuals with healthcare solutions and services, either in store, online, or in reality. In these days, it's truly always physical and digital platforms. Just to give you a couple of examples, in primary care, with co-located primary care practices by VillageMD at Walgreens, but we also develop and run digital first platforms like Walgreens Find Care in the US, or the equivalent in the UK called Boots Health Hub, or Online Doctors. So you see a number of different solutions and platforms connecting individuals to healthcare solutions that either we provide or our curated partners provide. And you asked about the team. The one thing I would say is that I'm really lucky to have a truly diverse group of colleagues, which I think is so important when developing healthcare solutions and services. And the one common passion to all is really the passion to develop new healthcare solutions and do that at scale, with the scale that our group enables.
Great. That's a very thorough overview. So I thank you for that, Giovanni. Healthcare and retail, you mentioned the term healthcare several times. They've become more connected over the last year plus than ever before, obviously the global pandemic. And so tell us a little bit about that dynamic and how healthcare and retail have really become blended together and what that has meant for Walgreens.
Sure. The way I look at it is that it really starts with the individuals, with the consumers becoming much more proactive about their healthcare, because this changes then the behaviors and the way we can engage with them. And this was definitely happening before the pandemic as well. But then with the pandemic, we all had to focus so much on healthcare, and this has dramatically accelerated. But with individuals becoming much more proactive, we as a retail pharmacy group have an opportunity to engage with individuals in new ways, as well as bringing more healthcare solutions. Just think about the fact that essentially through the pharmacies in the group, we serve millions of people a day, whether it's in store, online, across, and they rightly so, see the brands, the pharmacists, first of all, the trusted healthcare professionals, as a reliable source and an obvious go-to place to solve many of their needs and find answers and solutions. So with this greater proactiveness of individuals in healthcare and with a greater demand for healthcare, we've had the opportunity to extend the role of the group from traditional pharmacy to broader healthcare. And I'll give you several examples, hopefully in the rest of this podcast, whether it's COVID tests, vaccinations, etc. You were asking about these trends. I believe that the more engaged individuals are, the more the retail component of the retail pharmacy can also be valuable, because we see more personalization, more convenience, more engagement, as I mentioned, and we are well positioned within WBA to deliver this at scale.
So you noted, Giovanni, calling out some specific examples. So I'd love to know some of the digital products, the healthcare solutions that you and your teams have launched at WBA that have aided in your customers living, as the company's motto suggests, living happier and healthier lives. Maybe you can share an example or two in terms of the digital products and healthcare solutions that you've launched over the last several months or over the course of the last year.
Yeah, absolutely. We started from first things first, in a way, meaning before going deep on any new specific solutions, we thought there was really a need to have a more personalized, relevant digital front door to healthcare, if I may use this term. And that is because Walgreens over the years had really greatly expanded the healthcare offering of Walgreens services, as well as so many different partnerships with different health systems and providers and payers in different geographies. So we saw that it was needed to have a, as I said, more personalized digital front door. And then as we started building what we then called Walgreens Find Care on the walgreens.com and on the app, we saw that actually it could in itself become a business as well, and essentially a digital health marketplace, adding even more solutions to the platform, in addition to what was already available through Walgreens. So that's what took then the platform to what it is today, where individuals can book appointments with healthcare providers or schedule in-person COVID tests or their home diagnostic, access telehealth, all the way to even finding clinical trials. So it's really a broad digital front door to healthcare at Walgreens now. And the beauty of having started this before the pandemic, by the way, has put us in a position to then listening to the customers and seeing the demands and add more solutions as needed. More telehealth when the pandemic was started, and eventually COVID tests when those became available and needed, vaccinations as well. So, the beauty of having a platform that can scale up in a personalized way is that we can then add as needed. And we now have more than 50 providers, 70 services, treating 120 conditions. So it's really something quite successful. And we have even decided, in fact, to follow the same logic and apply the same approach and technology platform to the UK. with our pharmacy chain in the UK called Boots, where we've launched the Boots Health Hub. Hopefully this is a good example of a digital innovation and product.
It certainly is. And to your point, Walgreens and Boots Alliance, WBA, the Walgreens Boots Alliance, the platform is a resource. It's more than just, the company is positioning itself as a healthcare resource for consumers, not just a place where they can go get products, but also get information as well.
Information and services, all the way to digital therapeutics. Who would have imagined a few years ago that you would go to a pharmacy for a digital therapeutic? But that's what's happening in healthcare today and what we can perfectly enable.
Yeah, that's great. So let's talk a little bit about your customer and how their feedback and how their influence factors into the products, the services that you just mentioned, some of the solutions that your healthcare services team has brought to market. Tell us a little bit about how that factors into the equation as well, the input from your customers.
Absolutely. So we listen to the customers throughout the product development cycle in a way, and I have to say it's easier now with Walgreens Fine Care Live, because just to give you an idea, we during the latest fiscal quarter, WBA disclosed that we had more than 135 million visits in the quarter to Walgreens Fine Care. So this is, generating lots of feedback, lots of insight, lots of knowledge for us as we grow the platform. The traffic has increased and on anything COVID related, of course, as anything in healthcare in these days, but also on the much broader platform. And I was telling you the customer feedback, just looking at performance, looking at customer satisfaction across such a wide marketplace enables us to understand where the demand is going, what else do we need to add, what do we need to do better as we shape our product roadmaps and prioritize new features, selection of partners. And though that is not true for digital only. Of course, many times digital, physical are totally integrated. But if I pick an example on, physical first healthcare delivery, like a polychronic condition management, primary care doctors, etc., we've developed a partnership with VillageMD, and that was based on real customer insight as well, on what more is needed in primary care, better connection with the pharmacy, making it easier to manage care, chronic disease management. So in that case, the customer insight was very much at the very early stage of the development of a product, if you want, this partnership with VillageMD. And we now have already 46 co-located Village Medical primary care practices at Walgreens locations.
So we've talked about some of the things that you've already put into motion at Walgreens and specifically within the healthcare services team. As you look ahead, obviously it's difficult to predict what the future of healthcare will look like with so much uncertainty. But tell us a little bit about some of the trends you're looking at as you try to determine where your team should be focusing its attention next.
Yeah, it's impossible to predict, so I will not even get there. But what we know, I'm almost tempted to say for sure, as of now, is that we need, or there is a need in the country to improve access to care, and to improve access to primary care in particular, and in even more in medically underserved areas. So there is a trend that will take a while to address, and we believe it's an opportunity for us to focus on this. Again, on the partnership with VillageMD, really focusing on improving access not only, but also having a more coordinated healthcare delivery, making it easier. I mentioned earlier how this led to the partnership with VillageMD and to investing on creating a collaboration between the various steps of care delivery and pharmacists and providers and the rest of the care teams to, in particular, manage chronic conditions better, which is where patients then benefit the most from a unified experience. We are very focused on this. We're scaling up well, as I said, and we are on track to deliver our goal of a minimum of 600 co-locations. So again, this trend of improving access to care, making it easier, looking at the integrated experience across the various providers in the value chain, making it truly an experience that is integrated across physical and digital is a trend that we believe will keep us busy for years because it's a real need. On the opposite side, if you want, there's thinking at digital first. Well, we believe that, and that's another trend, that the digitization of healthcare, in a way, has just started across all the dimensions of managing healthcare and making patients' lives and individuals' lives, even before becoming patients, easier. We've seen through the pandemic how everyone was ready to embrace this as we were all seeking alternatives to traditional appointments in person, shifting to virtual visits. But what I found even more fascinating was how the healthcare stakeholders and providers, payers, regulators, and everyone embraced this shift, or the new capabilities unlocked by digitization of healthcare. And I hope this is here to stay for us to then pick the best between physical and digital, unlocking the best delivery of patient journeys. Yeah. I think we're just at the beginning, honestly. There's so much to reimagine in healthcare. So that's why, for instance, the investments of Walgreens Fine Care, Boots Health Hub, or all the way to the launch of Boots Online Doctor in the UK. So these are two trends that are probably here to stay for a while.
Yeah, that kind of blending of the physical and digital and giving that access to care and the consumer choosing how they want to access it, and Walgreens being kind of the conduit across multiple channels, as you so well put there. So I appreciate that. And my final question for you, Giovanni, is just we've focused a lot around kind of digital to start, and then we kind of talked about the physical store. This last question is kind of how do you foresee the role of the physical store, the drugstore, evolving as tech-enabled healthcare becomes even more mainstream? Talk a little bit about how you see that physical store potentially evolving going forward as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much more we can do and continuously improving in a way, thanks to that tech-enabled component of healthcare that you mentioned, and not just healthcare, across the entire store, because in a way, the experience can become more personalized and more engaging or is becoming, in many cases already, in the physical stores as well, and capabilities, features that were conceived and developed first for a digital first world can start being applied in the physical settings as well. Plus, with the rest of the tech-enabled healthcare, for instance, diagnostic becoming more and more at the point of care, and connected devices becoming more prevalent and eventually dominant. And with pharmacists who, thanks to tech, can have more time to dedicate to their patients and be supported by better automation, then we can connect in store the new ways of delivering care supported by the trusted healthcare professional, which in many cases is the most easily accessible profession in the healthcare profession in the community, and we can package this in a better healthcare delivery in store as well. I think retail pharmacy chains are ideally positioned for this because of then the retail component as well, and the investments that are being made also for the other side of the store, and whether it's the loyalty programs, which then lead to an ability to engage with individuals in a better way. And in fact, we've reinvented the Walgreens loyalty with my Walgreens, or the supporting technology platforms and partnerships like the ones we've developed, announced recently with Microsoft and Adobe for customer data platforms, all the way to connectivity and the partnerships with Verizon, or the investments in pharmacy automation. All these investments across the entire box, the entire store, will also enable a delivery of a better personalized healthcare experience in an omni-channel way. I think it's really important to remain focused on making sure that as we develop and deploy these innovations and then run them at scale, we maintain that focus, I was saying, on better health outcomes and lowering cost of care.
Great. Well, I want to take the opportunity to thank Giovanni Monti, the Senior Vice President of Healthcare Services for Walgreens Boots Alliance, for joining us on today's episode of Total Retail Talks and telling us a little bit about how Walgreens Boots Alliance is providing better healthcare experiences across all channels, digital and physical, for its customers. So thank you for joining me today, Giovanni.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcast for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.
Join us for this year's Women in Retail Leadership Summit, being held October 11th to the 13th. Go to womeninretailsummit.com for our full event safety plan and to register to attend. We can't wait to see you there.